Prince William and Kate Middleton are playing the long game, while Andrew remains isolated at Royal Lodge. While the media continues to dissect every detail of the scandal, the future king and queen are laser-focused on one thing: protecting the monarchy for the next generation. But here's the question nobody's asking. How do you distance yourself from family scandal without looking heartless? How do you protect an institution while still being a brother, a son, a member of a complicated family? By the end of this video, you'll understand the delicate balance William and Kate are striking, the strategy behind their silence, and what this tells us about leadership in the face of crisis. Let's dive in. On one hand, Andrew is William's uncle. They've known each other William's entire life. They've attended family gatherings, celebrated holidays together, been part of the same institution. There are personal relationships here, family bonds that go beyond what we see in public. On the other hand, William is the heir to the throne. He's the future of the monarchy. And part of his responsibility, maybe the most important part right now, is protecting the institution from threats to its credibility and survival. Andrew has become one of those threats. The British public, especially younger generations, are increasingly skeptical of the monarchy. They question whether an institution built on hereditary privilege deserves to exist in a modern democracy. They want to see accountability, transparency, and values that reflect the 21st century. Every time Andrew appears in public, every time there's news about him living in a mansion while ordinary Brits struggle with the cost of living, every time his name is mentioned alongside Epstein's, it damages the monarchy's reputation. William and Kate understand this, and according to sources close to them, they've made a calculated decision. Their priority isn't protecting Andrew. It's protecting the institution. It's ensuring that when William becomes king, the monarchy is still relevant, still respected, still sustainable. But how do you do that without creating a family civil war? How do you maintain boundaries without being cruel? If you've been watching William and Kate closely, you'll notice something interesting. They almost never talk about Andrew publicly. They don't defend him. They don't attack him. They simply don't engage with questions about him at all. This isn't an accident. This is strategy. Here's how it works. First, they've created distance through absence. William and Kate don't include Andrew in public events they control. When they host events at Kensington Palace, Andrew isn't there. When they appear at public engagements, he's not by their side. The message is subtle but clear. Andrew is not part of their vision for the future. Second, they've let the institution handle the formal decisions. When Andrew lost his military titles and royal patronages, when he was told he couldn't use HRH in an official capacity, those weren't William's decisions to announce. They came from the palace, from King Charles, from the system. This allows William to maintain plausible deniability. He doesn't have to be the bad guy who publicly rejected his uncle. The institution did it. He's just following protocol. Third, they've focused relentlessly on their own work. While Andrew's scandals dominated headlines, William and Kate have been visible, active, and focused on causes that matter to modern Britain: mental health, early childhood development, homelessness, conservation. They've essentially created a counter-narrative. Look at the good work we're doing. Look at how we're using our platform. This is what the monarchy can be. It's not about directly addressing Andrew. It's about making him irrelevant by showing what the alternative looks like. And it's working. Polls consistently show that William and Kate are the most popular members of the royal family. They're seen as relatable, hardworking, and genuinely committed to making a difference. They've managed to separate themselves from the scandal without ever having to publicly denounce a family member. That takes skill. That takes discipline. And that takes a very clear understanding of what's at stake. So what is William and Kate's one priority? Let me spell it out. Ensuring the monarchy survives for their children. Everything they do is viewed through this lens. Every decision, every public appearance, every statement. It's all about securing the future. Think about it from their perspective. William has 3 children: George, Charlotte, and Louis. George, as the eldest, will one day be king. That's his destiny, his responsibility, his burden. But what kind of monarchy will he inherit? Will it be respected? Will it be relevant? Or will it be a relic that the British public votes to abolish? That question keeps William up at night, and it shapes every decision he makes. Sources close to William say he's acutely aware that the monarchy is on trial, that each generation has to prove the institution deserves to continue. That past glory and tradition aren't enough anymore. He saw what happened after Diana's death, how close the monarchy came to losing public support, how his grandmother had to adapt and show emotion to win people back. He's seen the decline of other European monarchies. He's watched Harry and Meghan leave and take a huge amount of public sympathy with them. And he's seen how Andrew's scandal has damaged the family's reputation, especially among the very people who will decide the monarchy's future, young people. So William's priority is ruthlessly practical. Protect the institution by showing it can change, can be accountable, can reflect modern values. And that means Andrew cannot be part of the public face of the monarchy. Kate shares this priority completely. She married into this family knowing what she was getting into. She's not royal by birth, which actually gives her a clearer perspective on how the monarchy is viewed by ordinary people. She understands that people are watching to see if the royals are just a wealthy, privileged class protecting their own, or if they're genuinely committed to service and accountability. So she supports William's approach completely. They're a united front on this, presenting a vision of what monarchy can be in the 21st century. But here's the lingering question that nobody has a perfect answer to. Can you really modernize an institution built on hereditary privilege? This is the fundamental tension at the heart of William and Kate's challenge. On one hand, they want to show the monarchy is accountable, modern, and value-driven. They want to demonstrate that royals are hardworking public servants, not just privileged elites living off taxpayer money. On the other hand, the entire basis of the monarchy is that these people are special because of their birth. That William gets to be king not because he's the most qualified, but because of his bloodline. How do you reconcile those two realities? The Andrew scandal makes this tension even more obvious. Because the reason Andrew's scandal matters more than a similar scandal involving a regular person is precisely because he's royal. His privilege is what makes his failures more damaging. But it's also that privilege that protected him for so long, that gave him access to Epstein's world, that allowed him to travel as a trade envoy despite clear incompetence, that let him live in a mansion even after being effectively fired. So when William and Kate try to distance the monarchy from Andrew, they're essentially saying, we're different. We're the good kind of hereditary privilege. But is there really a good kind of hereditary privilege? Or is the whole system problematic? This is the question younger generations are asking. And it's a question William and Kate don't have a perfect answer to. Their strategy seems to be, prove the value through action. Show that royal privilege can be a force for good when wielded responsibly. Demonstrate that they're using their platform for causes that matter. And hope that's enough to justify the institution's continuation. It's a gamble. A calculated one, but a gamble nonetheless. Because here's the thing. No amount of good works by William and Kate can fully erase the stain of Andrew's scandal. The question of whether the monarchy protected him too long, whether privilege shields people from consequences, whether the institution can truly reform, those questions linger. And they'll continue to linger as long as Andrew lives in a mansion, financially supported by the family, while maintaining he did nothing wrong. William and Kate can't fully escape this. They can only try to be such a compelling alternative that people focus on them instead. But let's talk about the human element here, because this isn't just institutional strategy. This is family. William is reportedly quite close to his cousins, Beatrice and Eugenie, Andrew's daughters. They grew up together. They're around the same age. They understand the unique pressures of royal life in ways that outsiders never can. So how does William maintain relationships with them while keeping distance from their father? That's complicated. There are reports that Beatrice and Eugenie have felt caught in the middle. They love their father. They've stood by him. But they also understand the reality of his situation and the damage to the family. William has apparently been careful not to punish them for their father's mistakes. They're still invited to family events. They're still part of the extended royal family. But there are boundaries. Kate's role in this is interesting. As someone who married into the family, she has a different perspective. She's reportedly been a voice of reason, helping William balance family loyalty with institutional necessity. She understands what it's like to be on the outside looking in, which makes her sensitive to how the family's actions appear to the public. But she's also fiercely protective of her own children and their future. There's also the Charles factor. King Charles is caught between being Andrew's brother and being the king. He reportedly wants to support Andrew personally while maintaining institutional distance. William has to navigate this too, supporting his father's decisions while also making clear what his own vision for the monarchy is. It's messy, it's complicated, it's human, and that's actually one of the most relatable aspects of this whole situation. Because most of us have family members whose behavior we don't condone. Most of us have had to figure out how to maintain boundaries while still being connected. The difference is most of us don't have to do it while millions of people watch and judge. So what can we learn from how William and Kate are handling this crisis? Because there are genuine lessons here about leadership under pressure. We live in a culture that rewards constant commentary, hot takes, immediate reactions. But William and Kate have shown that sometimes the most powerful move is to say nothing. By not engaging with every Andrew story, they've avoided adding fuel to the fire. They've maintained dignity. They've kept the focus on their work rather than family drama. William can't make Andrew apologize or change. He can't undo his uncle's past choices. All he can control is his own response, maintaining distance, focusing on positive work, protecting the institution's future. This is true in any family or organization. You can't fix other people. You can only control your own actions. It might feel good to publicly denounce Andrew, to make a grand statement about family values. But William and Kate have chosen a more strategic path: gradual distance, institutional change, focus on the future. They're willing to endure criticism about not doing enough because they're playing a longer game. Rather than constantly defending the monarchy or explaining why it should exist, William and Kate are trying to prove it through action. Mental health advocacy, homeless initiatives, early years development. Prince William and Kate Middleton are trying to do something incredibly difficult: modernize a 1,000-year-old institution while dealing with a very 21st century scandal. Their strategy is clear: protect the future by distancing from the past. Show through action what the monarchy can be. Let the institution handle consequences rather than making it personal. And above all, keep the focus on the next generation. Will it work? Time will tell. The lingering question, whether hereditary monarchy can truly be compatible with modern values of accountability and meritocracy, won't be answered in their generation. Maybe not even in George's generation. But what William and Kate are doing is buying time. They're making the monarchy relevant enough, respected enough, useful enough that people don't demand its abolition. And they're doing it while navigating incredibly complex family dynamics, enormous public scrutiny, and the weight of knowing that their children's futures depend on the choices they make today. That's pressure most of us can't imagine. But the principles they're applying, long-term thinking, strategic silence, letting actions speak, maintaining boundaries with difficult family members, those are principles we can all use. Whether you're dealing with family drama, workplace politics, or organizational crisis, there's something to learn from how William and Kate are handling this impossible situation.